There was obviously a pressure to do well at school. There was a pressure to fit in. That's one thing. Or there were a lot of there was like a hierarchy in the school space as well. Like, do certain sports or whatever. I never really played that game, but I'd seem to kind of get along with the cool kids and all the kids and the arty kids and the nerdy kids and all of the kids.
Were you a netball girl?
No, God, netball terrified me. I grew up in Pretoria. Listen,
me too, though. We know.
Netball, no.
You were scared of the Afrikaans girls at netball because they were so good.
No, I'm scared in sports generally. Like the sports I did was like swimming. It's like you in the water, or it's like, I was good at jumping over things, but I hated running. So I was good at like high jump or hurdles, but running killed me. Like I thought I looked ridiculous. I felt ridiculous, and if they made me run a race, I would do anything to get out of it. Like, I was more into like gymnastics, swimming, those kinds of things. I played hockey. I played tennis. Hockey, that ball also terrified me. That's small, hard. No. And then tennis. I mean, I think I found one of my old report cards and I think it said Tamara would be a fantastic tennis player if she was remotely interested in the game.
702.
The upside of failure.
Sometimes failure is the foundation of greatest success stories.
The upside of failure. She is in the building. Tamara Dey.
Hello, my darling.
How are you?
Good.
I feel like I saw you yesterday, but
it was ages ago.
Yes. When did we see each other?
No, on like a TV thing.
Yes, we were doing something
for TV, and you were very busy there. What were you doing?
I don't even remember, but it was a show.
Yes.
Some show.
Yes.
And you are phenomenal as always. I absolutely have been a fan forever.
Likewise.
But I have to make a confession to you before anybody else tells you. Earlier on, I was telling Clement Manyatela, guess who I'm having on the show?
Yeah.
I referred to you as the Queen of Kwaito.
It's fine.
And not the First Lady of House.
It's okay.
And I was like...
I was once that girl.
You were once that girl. Okay, so I'm not wrong.
No, we must and should pay homage to that. Like, that was a time, that was... Yeah, I was that girl. I think my sound obviously has broadened and expanded in about 25 different directions since then. So, therefore, a broader... First Lady of House, title currently, but yes, no, that was a very special time, and I'm honored to have been called that.
And one thing I don't know if many of the listeners know, so Tamara Dey, one of the things I love about you and why I keep recommending you to clients is because, firstly, you are one of the most versatile performers out there, from being able to do your 1950s shoe-up genres in a girl group. You dance, you learn choreography, you take direction hella well. You shift from all types of things. You can cover any female South African vocalist and you make it your own without trying to be them, be it a ballad, be it all the way to up-tempo, and you are so... What is the word of the vocabulary is gone, but it's that word that means you work in all different markets. Like you don't have a predominantly black audience or predominantly, what's that word? Crossover.
I'll take it.
Oh,
thank you.
You crossover so
Thank
well.
you.
But if I have never personally in our real lives given you the flowers that you deserve, please know I love and admire you. You're a star. Just every time when I think, what else can this woman do? You do something else.
And I must. Thank you. That was amazing. Thank you so much. It's so lovely to hear what you said there. It means a lot. And I'm blushing and feeling awkward, feeling, you know that I'm actually a shy girl under this whole facade.
And I'll tell you this.
Nobody believes me.
I still remember the first time I saw you, not live, but even knew who a Tamara Dey was. I was like, who's this white girl, Libo Oskido, and I was like, who this girl? She got soul. And I think it was like late high school at the time.
Yeah.
So you can imagine, for me, getting to work with you, getting to know you is like the biggest honor of my life. And now, like, you are somebody I can just WhatsApp, yo girl, what's up?
No, and now I get to come and be part of your world, which is amazing, by the way. So congrats.
Where does the shyness come from?
Always caring way too much what people think, probably. And can I just, I'm finally got a handle on that in my latter years, but that always was a bit of an issue for me. And it's such a silly thing. So anyone else out there who does that, don't do it. Don't worry about what people think.
Is that the creative in you, or is that the perfectionist in you? Like when you say always caring what people think, did that apply to everything, or just specifically around the things that you're pouring your soul into?
I think very much around the things I'm pouring my soul into. And then obviously as a young teenage girl, all teenagers are like super worried. It sort of started there, but it probably went into spaces where it shouldn't have, and it's something I should have let go of. But again, people think I'm very competitive, but I'm not competitive.
Really?
I'm just really hard on myself.
Competitive?
So I'm like my own worst critic kind of thing, and then worried about failing, worried about what people are going to say. Well, I was very much so. It was always an issue for me, and I really, when that was, in a bad place, it was probably definitely holding me back in many ways. And thank goodness I have, grown through that and come out the other side of it. Like just being able to say, don't waste your time doing that. Really don't.
It's so weird. As you were saying, that probably held me back. In my mind, I was thinking, oh my gosh, I wonder how much that pushed her to be the phenomenal performer you are with the work ethic that you have. And I mean, it
Definitely
does
the
have a
work
downside.
ethic.
It does have a downside. We know that because you don't actually get to enjoy what you're doing.
That's the thing.
You don't get to enjoy it.
That's the thing.
Even the achievements.
Get out of your head, because while you're worrying what people think, everyone's having a final time and you're the only one who's suffering. It's like it's really, really silly. And it just got to a point for me where I realized exactly that. Like I was sort of like overthinking. Every detail was so important. Everything going right was so important. And we all know, like, there's so much you can't control. And learning to surrender to that has been one of my biggest lessons through my musical career. And just remembering to just have a great time. Like, you are getting to do what you love. Not everyone gets to do that. You get to wake up every day. And yes, it's hard. Yes, it's challenging, all of that stuff. But you get to pursue your passion and your purpose. And you never want to wake up, on your deathbed and go like, sure, I really wish I never worried so much about what people thought, because I could have been having a great time. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, it really does suck the joy out of it. So if you can find a good balance between bringing your A game, whatever that is, and or just growing, that's more important, just growing and always being connected to that energy. And then just surrendering to those moments where, stuff happens that's beyond your control, or you're having a bad day, or you're human.
How have you taken this? And like I try my best to look at the things that I struggle with, and I'm like, how do I make this a superpower? And for me, I feel like, just from what I've seen and observed about you, I've never heard you complain about being asked to do it again. I've never heard you ever. Your work ethic is a 10 out of 10, no matter what it is that we are doing. You take the brief, you go through. So I'm thinking, I do see the side that it sucks the joy out of everything, and you really miss out on being present in moments that are amazing.
Yes.
Can you think of a moment that in your career was probably a high achieving moment, a high top of your game moment that you completely did not get to be in the moment of? And how do you allow yourself to relive it and recreate something that is positive from it?
I can't remember one moment specifically. There have probably been many. I mean, I've been on stage where, my outfit has fallen off. I think we once...
I need to know the story of your outfit falling off.
My gosh. But before I get into that story, things go wrong on stage all the time.
Yes.
And that kind of thing in the past would have left me in a bad way for at least a couple of days post a performance.
Really?
Yeah, I couldn't let stuff like that go. And thank goodness I've gotten over that. Because
so you'd
again,
worry about the dress worry about the outfit and not realize that maybe that was the best vocal.
yeah, I wouldn't be
gave.
able to. It would sort of overwhelm the moment. That one bad thing that happened on stage that honestly nobody really cared about at the end of the day, and that would sort of like take over what was actually a wonderful performance or a really good experience or an amazing opportunity and all that good stuff. And the fans out there loving it and that beautiful energy exchange, like, and you're missing all of that because you zoned in on something bad that's gone wrong that honestly was beyond your control. So, yeah, but let me tell you the story because it's a funny one. We were opening for Beyonce.
I mean, hello.
Many
Can we
years
just
ago.
take a moment? Guys, if you don't know how huge this woman is, Tamara Dey, everybody just needs to know. Yes.
I was not alone. There was a string of opening artists, including, who was all there? KB was there.
Wait,
this was a long time ago.
Was this the 664 concert in Cape Town?
No, it was at Gallagher State. It was one of the first times she came out. And it was like in the early start of my career.
Yes.
And I had this crazy outfit with dancers, and RJ Benjamin, who I wrote a lot of music with back in the day, was coming on stage with me as well. And something snapped. And that thing,
what snapped?
There was like a string tying it together at the back. It was like a bodice boob tube kind of thing with like peacock feathers. I mean, it sounds insane. It probably was insane. And the string that was holding this entire look together came off, and I was basically like just in like a pair of leggings, basically, was what was left.
So I had did it fall, or you were holding it?
No, I had to grab it and run off stage. But I remember coming back on and some person in the front row like shouting, "Take it off!" I mean, horror. I was like dying.
Was RJ looking at you like
poor
this?
Guy,
like,
no. Like I had to walk off stage. He was helping me, trying to get this thing on, waiting to come on and sing. The dancers were on stage alone, looking at each other, sort of left and right, going, "Where did you go?" No, it was it's a comedy of errors. Very, very funny. We laugh, RJ and I still laugh about it to this day. But I managed to get back on with that thing literally hanging on by a thread and finish that performance. I was still singing backstage, like on the mic, while people were trying to give me back. You know that vibe where you're like,
this is the work ethic I'm talking about. Because you continue. And I mean, interesting, because I always use Beyonce as the example when I say to performers, you know, you can't be thrown. If your hair gets caught in the fan, you keep singing.
Yeah, you got to carry on.
Yes, and from a musical theater background, I mean, I know of dancers who've literally broken their ankles, and the adrenaline kept them going. Yes. And then when they get off stage, like, oh, okay, my ankle's broken. Yeah. And that's what I see in you. So your outfit did you meet Beyonce?
We weren't allowed to connect with her, but I met some of her backing vocalists and some people on her crew, and they were amazing. They were lovely. And we watched from the side of the stage at a distance.
Lost out. Beyonce lost out.
But you know, this is the thing. Such a great moment, such an exciting moment, and my memory of it is the dress. You know what I mean? It's like because at the time I would have been devastated. It didn't. You know, I was able to do the performance. Nobody saw my.
Your goedes.
Yeah. So we're okay. And also it was before the time of crazy social media. So I don't think anyone caught it on camera, which is also great.
Who's the person that was screaming,
"How
take
funny."
it off?
I mean, in the moment I was horrified, but thinking back, it's actually hilarious.
I need to buy you a t-shirt that says take it off.
Please. Bring it. I will wear it proudly.
I am going to do that. So in terms of, you know, this overthinker in you, how did you push through that enough to still get on stage? Because it's one thing to care about what people think and then do nothing. You still did it. Like you still put yourself out there. So you're like, I don't want to, I care about what people think. Let me just make the people like more people. That's what you decided to do.
I know. My mom told me that when I was a kid, I would enter into these, like a singing competition or something like that. And I would hit like a massive fight or flight vibe and try and run out the sort of back door. And she said to me, she had to grab me a couple of times and be like, no, come on, get onto that stage. So I don't know, there's always been this like, it's, I've had to, I think this is the thing, you constantly have to put in this game and in life, you have to push yourself into these spaces where you're out of your comfort zone. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. And the more you start to enjoy that feeling. And the more you start to let go of all the stuff that doesn't matter, and the more you just really step into levels of yourself within your craft that you weren't able to, but it's in the practice. Like with anything, whether it's spiritual practice, practice of your craft, whatever it is, the more you step into it, the more you practice, the better it gets, So I don't know how I was able to override the instinct to literally bolt out the back door.
No, because it's such a contradiction.
It is, and that's what's so weird about it. And but I think when there's, I don't know, maybe there was something bigger kind of at play for me, or bigger pushing me and driving me. Something I didn't quite understand, or wasn't fully connected to. But I think there was also just, I knew from young, like this was what I needed to do. So I had to override it. You know what I mean?
There's another thing that contradicts the feeling. So for as long as I've known you, you've never been a person whose look and style was ever what other people were doing. You were always doing your own thing, very much like how when Madonna was doing her own thing, that it was like, depending what era you're in, it's like that is trashy or that is so iconic. And I have always remembered you to be iconic because you would take these cool colors, cool textures. And so now you're like, okay, I care what people think. So let me also just wear what no one's wearing. I want to know about that.
Yeah, so I don't know. There's just
you find these things that I would never put together, and I know you do a lot of it yourself.
I do.
So people can't even say, "Oh, she's influenced by a stylist."
I think, and this is another thing. While you're focused on what everybody else is thinking, you are not connected to your own instinct. Like you are focusing outward, where all the answers and all the good stuff is actually inward, like go inward. Like, so if I had been listening more, so I probably had, moments of listening to that and trusting my instincts and that, and what I knew I needed to do and what I knew felt good and what I knew excited me. And when I've been aligned with that, that's when I've made magic. That's when the biggest things in my life has happened. That's when I've written the hits. That's when I've made those bold choices to change something in my career or start something new against all odds. It's when you are aligned to that instinct and you are fully in trust that feeling is the feeling you should pursue. And I think I've probably gone through times in my life where I've been connected to that and times when I haven't. I think now I'm in a place in my life where if I'm not connected to that, I'm very aware very quickly and I'm reconnecting. Because honestly, that's where it's at. Like staying connected to your highest excitement, the things that give you your highest joy, that is when you know you are exactly where you need to be.
Are you a person whose body manifests physically when you're not aligning to self? And I'm only sharing this because
big time.
This happens with me. So when I'm not aligning, and I'm still working on it, that things fall apart. And I know you were unwell. Was it like December, November?
It was 2020 and 21. I was in and out of hospital for those 2 years. I had 3 major stomach surgeries over that time. And then last year, June, I had a 4th stomach surgery, a second hernia repair and scar reversal surgery because I had a lot of damage post all the other surgeries.
Yes.
I had a stoma bag. I had stoma reversal surgery.
Oh my gosh!
Like all of it. And yes, it's exactly that. I think again, and even my work ethic, great, really great. But the downside to that is is sometimes to burn out. Or to not find ways to deal with your stress and the sort of high-paced lifestyle that we live in the music industry. Definitely those things manifested in my body for sure. For me, stress and that sort of manifests in the sort of stomach area. And,
What is it about the gut?
No, they say all your emotions are there.
Right.
Emotions in the gut. So I probably
and your
suppressed.
nerves and anxiety. You said stress.
Yes.
Sits in the gut.
Anxiety, overthinking, all of that stuff. Like,
and your instinct, because they say I had a gut feeling.
Oh, yeah. No. That's literally me. I've found ways to look after myself better. Meditation, taking time for me here and there. I don't get much. I'm not going to lie. I'm a single mom.
Yes.
So, a single mom, launching new, sides to my career. I'm probably working harder now than I ever have in my life, but I think I'm doing it in a healthier way.
Yes.
Like, I'm making better choices. I'm taking the rest, at every opportunity. I think, I've got a much better headspace. I understand, like I've surrendered to all these things, the failure, things not going my way. But all of these things, getting into a better headspace about a lot of stuff equals a healthier body, mind, soul. So ultimately, my ability to cope with the world we live in is so much better. It's still a lot. It's not gonna lie.
Yes,
it's a lot.
Indeed.
But I'm in a really good place. I like where I'm at right now. I like the choices I'm making. I like how I'm able to kind of check myself and see very quickly, like, oof, okay, I can see the signs of X, Y, Z.
Yes.
I need to rein it in. I need to focus on, whatever it is.
What would you say, before we go to the news, is the most spiritual experience that you've had on a job doing what you do? And it could have been because of the person or because...
Oh my gosh. You're asking me such a question now.
They didn't warn you about me, ne?
Yeah, no, but now I've probably had a few, but I'll struggle to think of it.
The first one that comes to mind, let me say.
Spiritual experience.
And maybe it's not something that was like in the moment you were like, this is heavenly, but something that shifted you. It moved you. It was an experience that like literally changed the trajectory or the perception of certain things. So I'm asking you now so that when we come back from the news, you have an answer.
I'm going to have a few minutes to think
She
about it.
looks very stressed, guys. She looks very stressed about answering this. And the reason I asked this question is because I think sometimes, especially with conversations like this, we focus on what was it like winning that award and what was it like winning that award. And I'm trying, I guess I'm projecting, because in my own life, a lot of my identity sits in what I do. And I'm trying to build identity without those things.
Oh,
right?
I hear you.
Because... And when you become a mother, that also now becomes a thing of an identity that's not just you on your own. So now I'm trying to find more in moments, and it isn't in the trophies. It isn't in the awesome headlines. There are moments where I'm like, that thing literally made me a new person. Like, because I know what it was. But
I know what it is, but it's not the music.
Don't tell me yet. Don't tell me yet. When we come back from the news, Tamara Dey is still with us on the Upside of Failure. She's going to tell us a moment. And it doesn't have to, it's anything in her career, something that moved her. And maybe it's an opportunity for you to think about those moments in your own life.
702.
The upside of failure.
Proof that a setback can lead to a step forward.
23 minutes to 3 o'clock, the upside of failure. We're together with the First Lady of House, Tamara Dey. Your calls on 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. The Tamara that was the little girl, right? Because you spoke about being a teenager who you were now worried about what people think because we want to be included. I want to quickly go back before you tell us the answer to the question we asked. And tell us, when you were a kid, what did you think failure was? And I mean, like, as far back as you can remember.
Sure. You with the deep questions.
We need to actually just do sound bites, ne?
My goodness.
I'm telling Abel, my technical
What
producer.
did I think failure was? Well, there was obviously a pressure to do well at school. There was a pressure to fit in. That's one thing. Or there were a lot of there was like a hierarchy in the school space as well. Like, do certain sports or whatever. I never really played that game, but I'd seem to kind of get along with the cool kids and all the kids and the arty kids and the nerdy kids and all of the kids.
Were you a netball girl?
No, God, netball terrified me. I grew up in Pretoria. Listen,
me too, though. We know.
Netball, no.
You were scared of the Afrikaans girls at netball because they were so good.
No, I'm scared in sports generally. Like the sports I did was like swimming. It's like you in the water, or it's like, I was good at jumping over things, but I hated running. So I was good at like high jump or hurdles, but running killed me. Like I thought I looked ridiculous. I felt ridiculous, and if they made me run a race, I would do anything to get out of it. Like, I was more into like gymnastics, swimming, those kinds of things. I played hockey. I played tennis. Hockey, that ball also terrified me. That's small, hard. No. And then tennis. I mean, I think I found one of my old report cards and I think it said Tamara would be a fantastic tennis player if she was remotely interested in the game.
Oh my God.
So I had skills, but I was distracted.
You didn't have interest.
Yeah.
So,
and it's a fantastic game. I actually wish I got an insert and still played it. It's a beautiful sport. But I was all over the place with the sports. I was more interested in being one of the. We choreographed the like opening cheerleading song with all the kids to like this Beastie Boys song. And we came out in skateboards and bicycles, and there was like choreography. My head was more there. I was the opening ceremony. I was all about the opening ceremony of the sports event.
Was that for you, which is so you? Was that for you
a production?
A success? Was that for you successful or not? Was that for you failure? The fact that you'd get a comment like that in your report card.
Sure. I don't see it as failure now. I'm not sure how I saw that back then. No, I think no. I think there were other things that I knew that I was doing well at, so that my focus was sort of there. I think my issue was probably more like social failure in some way, like
not being cool,
or like not having certain physical attributes, like or that kind of thing. I mean, I don't want. Yeah, I mean that might be a bit personal.
No, I get
but
you. As a
right teenager,
type,
yes, there's certain things.
Not
exactly.
being the cool girl that the boys like, and all of those things we can relate to.
Yeah, there was just a sort of a look, and I certainly didn't fit that look at school. I think, it took me a while to kind of come into that and understand that I was uniquely beautiful, and that and see and understand what was really awesome about me. In many ways, and that my unique look was beautiful in its own way, and because I guess when you're a teenager, there's a sort of standard of beauty, and our kids have it much harder today. They've got Instagram to contend with, and there's such a standard of beauty there that each kid is comparing themselves to. So we thought we had it tough. We didn't have it tough, and at the end of the day, I mean, thank goodness I've been able to step into my own sort of greatness, and I'm able to kind of celebrate everything that is good about me, or my uniqueness, my whatever. And we all have it. But yeah, as a teenager, I think that pressure is a lot, for kids.
If we go back, the question that I asked you is, what is a moment or a gig or a job that you've done in your career that shifted you spiritually, that was the most, it did something?
I'm not sure if this is the answer you're looking for, but I'm going to say if the first thing that pops to mind when I think about a big shift for me on a spiritual level was probably pandemic. I didn't work for a long period. I don't know if it was like 6 months or what it was, but it was an extended period, and I had Flash Republic had come to an end.
Yes.
I had sort of started to do some stuff. I had some I'd worked with Oskido again, and we'd done colours, and that had done really well. But I had this plan to do this kind of Pan-African album, and I'd worked with like Ice Prince and Debanj and a whole bunch of people, but those plans would never have worked out. It would never have happened because the pandemic was coming, and that whole plan to tour Africa and whatever I was dreaming of, it was never going to be possible because of what was going to happen. And I went through this like really wobbly time, and then the pandemic hit, and I'd just started to get a glimpse of a new direction for me, and then everything just came to a halt. And I think I really, in that time, was faced with the reality of how badly do you still want this? Is this still, what are you prepared to do? Like, how deep are you going to dig? And what are you really made of? Because, wow, it was a very testing time. And to be honest, post that, I was able to fall in love with music all over again, and honestly, and able to honestly level up in so many ways. It was one of the hardest times of my life. I also got very sick during that time. That was when I started to. It was just when the first lockdown opened up and we started to work again. I ended up in hospital and was very ill for a long time. So that period of my life and in my career was crazy. I mean, I had colors, but I really didn't have much else going on. And it forced me to go back into a songwriting space, back into a creative space, and just rethink everything. And honestly, I think everything that I've done recently, deciding to launch my DJ career, deciding all of these things, like, are all because of the hardship I faced during that time, and my daughter being in my life. That is the other spiritual thing that has happened in my world. And then I said to you just now, I have something. It's not music related, but
look, the pandemic it was for everybody at the lockdown, especially creatives. It broke some people who were able to come out from being broken into a breakthrough, and others didn't.
I know.
And for me,
devastating.
It's a difficult thing for some people to hear, but for me, the pandemic and the lockdown brought many blessings to my life.
Wonderful.
Because it forced me
Yes.
to do many things that I would not have been doing otherwise.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, exactly.
And I also I used to say in prayers, like, oh God, can the world just stop for a moment so I can think? And that's what happened.
It's exactly.
And obviously, we're
all
absolutely sad for all of the horrible things that happened. People died. But what it did for me and what I was able to achieve in that time, change trajectory of careers.
100%. I mean, we lost as a family a lot of people, friends, family, lots of people over a couple of years, over the pandemic. And I never thought in a million years that I imagined when you're sort of older, when you think about yourself in your like 80s, whatever, like obviously we're all going to start, dropping away. Yes. I mean, it's going to happen.
Yes.
But I never imagined that at this point in my life we would lose so many people, so many but anyway, it has been the catalyst for me saying yes to things that I guaranteed in the past would have talked myself out of. I would have gone like, oh no, what are people going to say? Like, maybe I've left it too late. Maybe maybe that ship has sailed. All of that nonsense that we tell ourselves. Like, there's no room for that in my life anymore. And now I'm making these bold choices, and the joy that is coming to my life, the way that I've been able to expand my musical career from making these kind of decisions, which I know in the past I would have maybe talked myself out of.
You've got Tamara Dey, the Tamara Dey on your show. Wow, man, this lady is amazing. You know what, Tamara Dey, just listening to you right now, your voice sounds so smooth, so soothing. Please keep up what you're doing. You're doing a good job.
Hey, Relebogile. Hey, Tamara. Oh my gosh. When I heard that you're in the show, I just remembered your song you were featuring Dibanj. I think it's called Stuck in Our Way. Oh, and then I saw you at my daughter's school. I think our kids go to the same school. I won't mention the name of the
Thank you,
school
dear.
for the safety of our kids. It's
Oh,
Norma here in Linden, Nudge Nudge, around those areas. And I saw you during the open day, and I was like, oh, to my husband, that's Tamara Dey. But then my husband's like, yeah, no, in Joburg we don't do that, honey. We don't
oh
have
no,
to
you must come and say
over-celebrity
hi,
and stuff.
please.
Because, I'm all the way from the Northwest and I've been loving you and I just wanted to embrace you. But anyway, yeah, hopefully I'll see you more often and say hi.
Such a cute message. See you at
Great show,
school.
Rile. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh man, how does that make you feel?
That makes my heart burst. It's really, really cool. And she knew the name of my song with the bunch. So, girl, like, yeah, I'm so chuffed about that. But yeah, you must come say hi. I know, it must be. I know because I'm a freaky fan, and I wild out completely when I see people that I that I respect. I'm like I don't actually do very well when I meet my icons.
Yes.
I actually spaz completely. It's
Is
so bad.
it?
It's so bad. It always goes so beautifully in my head, and then in real life, I'm just a fan like everyone else
Yeah.
of my favorite artists, and I've had one or two very embarrassing situations, but I get it. I get how daunting it is to go up to somebody. But yeah, if you see me at school, girl, come say hi.
Oh, I love that. There's a message here that's come through. Oh my gosh, did I lose the message? Okay, give me 1 second to get it together. Lebogile and Tamara, thank you for a delightfully deep, honest, and thought-provoking discussion. Best wishes, Dr. Philemon in Midstream.
Hey, Doc. Thanks for tuning in.
When you look at the journey that your career has gone on, who is on the list of artists or creatives that you're like, I still need to work with that person, no matter what happens, no matter where my career turns? It could be a producer, it could be
Oh my gosh.
an artist.
Do you want to know how long that list is?
Let's pick the first 3 that come to mind.
Um,
And we're not doing dead or alive. They have to be alive, as in they
gosh,
could be
I
listening.
suck at this. Oh,
They
I
could
suck
be
at this.
listening to this conversation
These are the
right
questions
now.
you need to give me
No,
beforehand.
I don't do that. I have
I'm
to warn
terrible.
everyone.
You know what happens? I cannot. At the moment I'm on the spot, like it's gone, and then I'm going to leave the studio and then
Okay.
think of 10 names.
Can I add a name for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go for it.
Who are those?
I have one.
Who are those DJs that are 2 of them and they wear those international huge DJs? They wear the robot outfits.
Oh, you're talking about Daft Punk?
Yes, I want them for you.
Oh, no, absolutely. I would never, I mean, imagine.
I want, I don't know why, but I see Tamara Dey in Daft Punk.
No, bring it on any day of the week, including Sunday. Even though it's a church day, I will work with Daft Punk on a
Yes.
Sunday. There is such a long list of producers and DJs and other artists that I'd love to work with still. Having expanded into the DJ industry myself now, the next level for me is to release music as a DJ vocalist, to feature vocalists on my own productions. There's a whole new level that I'm exploring right now. I think the big thing for me is, I've moved into a different side of the music industry where I'm part of creating those experiences for people and not just kind of performing at them. So I have my own event that I do once a month at a club called Bad Manners, and it's called Oda and Basso. And it has been the most amazing experience to be on the side of throwing the event and being part of building the culture on that side of things. It is a whole new world, and to be part of just curating the sound of the night and the feel of the flow of the evening and interacting with the crowd on that level. And through this world, there are a couple of producers and DJs that I look up to immensely. You know who I really love is Desiree. Do you know?
You gotta be cool.
No,
That Desiree. I
no.
was like, damn girl, you're
I don't know
talking
if
to
I'm
Desiree.
pronouncing it wrong. If I've heard a few people call her Desire, but I'm sure it's Desiree. She's an Afrotech artist. She's released her own productions. She's touring around the world. She's a local girl, and she's amazing. And I've got a video which I'm going to post on my socials. So go and have a look. She was at the Kate concert.
Okay, I found her on the socials. So you will search Desiree_RSA if you want to see.
That's the girl. So she's an amazing Afro house DJ, and she's doing big things. But she was at the Kate concert in the VIP, and I was like fangirling so hard. And this group of girls that I was with were like, they couldn't believe that I was the way I was like fangirling, and they had to give me a pep talk to go over and say hi to her.
And you did?
Yeah. And then they filmed it, bless their hearts. So I must post it. Please go and have a look. I'm going to post that little interaction on my socials. But I was like, do you think I should ask her for a photo? And these girls were falling apart with laughter at me because they just couldn't believe that Tamara Dey is like, unraveling, because there's Desiree. Anyway, there's loads of sort of DJs and producers that I sort of aspire to kind of be on that level. Can I give you
homework?
Yeah.
On your Insta story, because all the names are gonna pop up. You're gonna when the names come up, put it on your Insta stories, and everybody must head over to Tamara Dey's Instagram. That's her main platform.
Yeah.
Put on your Insta story. Tag all of them, and then all of us are going to go and see, because I don't want you to oh my gosh, I should have said. We're all going to head over, and it's such a pity that we've run out of time. In one sentence, what have you learned about failure for all the listeners?
It's an absolute gift. It's an absolute gift. It is exactly what you need to really to step into being the person who's ready for the life that you've always dreamed of. Without failure, you are not going to be ready for your biggest dreams. So surrender to it, be grateful for it, let it shape you, let it help you change direction and course correct. It is so necessary, and just love it as much as your highs. Love your lows. They are the reason you are the person you are today.
Tamara Dey, ladies and gentlemen, the word I had for where I read your energy is settled. Tamara Dey, settled. Thank you so much.
I'll take it. Bye.
702.
The upside of failure.
Sometimes failure is the foundation of greatest success stories.